you this morning. I mean, do you think that this move to send more British troops to Ukraine and to Estonia and Poland will have an impact, will affect how Vladimir Putin views this?
Yeah, I think it will. I mean, arguably, Putin's sort of got himself into a little bit of a muddle with this, because he's had a fairly easy run, if you like, in things he's done recently. He's seen the West get out of Afghanistan sort of rather quickly, and not close the operation particularly successfully. So, but actually now he's got himself into a position where he's coming up against opposition. I mean, personally, if you are serious about invading somebody else's country, you tend not to announce it several months beforehand to the world's press. So I think there is an element, obviously, of sort of bluff going on here. But if that bluff is called, then arguably it could be quite dangerous, because where does he sort of go from here, if you see what I mean? One thing I think Putin can't take is a long, drawn-out guerrilla war in Ukraine. I mean, you've got a Russian military, you've got a Russia that's got what happened in Afghanistan still very much to the front of its thoughts. It wasn't that long ago, and you like that brought down the previous Soviet regime. So I think from Putin's point of view, actually the options are possibly closing in a bit, but the danger is that he might feel he's got to do something. So I think what the West standing up to him, the West actually taking a strong line, is really important. So yeah, I do think it'll make a difference.
NATO seems to be putting up a united front, even if it's bluff, as you say, but they do seem to be united. Although Germany, which you would think would be key, doesn't seem to be very involved in this crisis. What is their point of view? Yeah,
I mean, let's just look at that from 2 points of view. So first of all, sort of from a German point of view, I mean, Germany would argue that actually, they're unique in sort of the Western family nations, and they have to look east and west. I mean, Germany's always been, if you like, on the sort of frontier of Europe. It's always been the country that's got to sort of face off Russia, and has been since the earliest days. So they would argue that you need to see things. They see things differently. They have to have a sort of some degree of rapprochement. There's obviously huge Russian involvement in the German economy. But then you get this issue of Germans say to you about sort of war guilt, if you like, that given our history, given what happened in those 12 terrible years between 1933 and 1945, we just don't have that sort of moral freedom of action. And thirdly, of course, they've got an energy sector which is very dependent on Russia. Now, you could argue that's our own fault. I mean, it was a conscious decision to back out of a nuclear program. But actually, if you look at just how dependent they are on Russia for energy, it is very dependent. I mean, it's about a third of our gas. We've got Russian companies who own a lot of the gas storage in Germany. About half German households, if you like, are heated on Russian gas, and also crude oil and coal. So that, if you like, is one side of the argument. But then there is a counter, to my mind, stronger argument, which says, yeah, okay, all very well, but the Second World War ended very nearly 80 years ago, and you can't sort of carry on necessarily making that argument. And there's a big difference between aggression and actually deterring aggressors. And if you look at German post-war history, and you look at some of those great German chancellors, you can't quite see them taking quite such a sort of backseat as is happening at the moment. Imagine Willy Brandt, that great ex-mayor of Berlin, and then again SPD chancellor, same party as Scholz. You can't quite see him being quite so retiring about this. Okay. So I think there is the problem. I think Germany does need to take a stronger line. I think it's really important that they do, because I think Putin will listen to that. And I think really the West should be doing all they can to encourage them.